And were you going to connect the Zoom just in case anybody? Okay.
It says wait for host to
Oh.
start this meeting.
Well, I wonder. I think she had the host thing going on. Let me text her.
It's 6 o'clock. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We are live on.
I know that you have some other meetings.
Yes,
this evening, so-
and we are live, so you're good to go.
Good evening, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll get started with the public hearing. Introduce myself, I'm Jill Sagesser, and with the Wheatley Group, and we're assisting the city of Charlestown in preparing this grant application. Also, Mayor Charlestown, Mayor Hodges is here, and there are some other people here that I probably could introduce, but with the masks on, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's really them or not, so I apologize for that. But we also have some members of the Redevelopment Commission here as well. So, one of the awkward things about public hearings in this state of COVID is a sign-in sheet. So normally the state requires that we have, or the granting agency requires that we have a sign-in sheet. I know there's a sheet back there on the table, but if you are unable or unwilling to sign that, then I can take your names and write them down. Generally, they don't like them all in one handwriting, but they will make exceptions. So I'll leave it to you, but if you don't sign in back there, then I'll need to write your names down on my sign-in sheet to make sure that we've captured you. And so I'll give you that, and we'll circle back to that later. We want to make sure that we can record everybody that's here. They are looking for participation as far as their scoring and non-subjective scoring criteria as far as the grant's concerned. So that's why we want to make sure that we get you. I'll give you a brief program overview. Can everyone hear me okay? Is it too loud? Okay. The city of Charlestown is hoping to apply for a grant of up to $250,000 to assist small businesses. And that application will go on or before July 31st. So it's actually due at 11:59 on July 31st. It's submitted electronically. The funds are derived from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, and it flows through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, which is a state agency, and then they determine an application process of how they're going to disperse those funds. This is the first of 2 required public hearings. So if the city is fortunate enough to be awarded this money, then at time of closeout, after all of the grants have been awarded to small businesses, then the city will have another public hearing to meet that requirement. As of earlier this month, the state stated that they had about $12 million for this program, and they had received 49 proposals. So just to give you an idea of what that means, in order for anyone to apply and actually receive the money, they had to submit a proposal. So that pool is limited to the 49 communities that submitted a proposal, like Charlestown did. And if they awarded at the maximum of $250,000, if they really have $12 million, then they could award 48 of those at $250,000. Or they could award 49 and just award everyone a little bit less. I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. They are treating this as a competitive process. The award announcements are expected the week of August 23rd. So it's a pretty quick turnaround as far as the state is concerned. And they've set a maximum amount of $10,000 per grant to small business. And you can have no more than 100 employees to qualify. So if you're a small business that has 101 employees, then the city, whether they wanted to or not, can't because of the grant requirement. Another thing that's required, and it's a state and federal rule, is that we're going to require intake documentation from each of the applicants. There are certain income eligibilities that each of the businesses has to meet, or a pool of the businesses has to meet, and that's something that will be part of the application, a copy of the intake document, but you'll also be required to either fill that out as an owner or have your employees fill that out as well. Excuse me. There are also special considerations regarding the intake document for businesses that are considered micro-enterprise businesses. A micro-enterprise is a business of 5 or fewer employees, one of which is the owner. So micro-enterprise businesses, I know this is somewhat confusing, and I've gone through it a few more times than you all, so if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. But a micro-enterprise, if I were the owner and had 5 or fewer employees, I was one of the employees, either I could qualify personally, I could be the one that qualifies, or if I don't qualify income guideline wise, then I can do intake documents for the employees. So you have 2 different ways that you could qualify. If you're a non-micro enterprise business, so you have more than 5 employees, or you have fewer than 5 employees, but you're the owner and not an employee, then you get put into a pool with everyone else that meets that criteria. So where micro enterprise businesses have to qualify, either the owner or the employees, the non-micro enterprise businesses all get thrown into a pool, and as long as that pool of employees is at least 51% low mod, then everyone within that pool can receive funding. So that means that not every business has to meet the low mod requirements, the 51% low mod requirements. If you're a self-employed person or you have a contract employee, they could also apply, but they have to apply as a separate business, and they're considered a micro enterprise. So if you owned a hair salon, that's the easiest example I can come up with. If you own a hair salon and you rent out spaces and those people are self-employed, then those are not your employees. They would have to qualify separately for their own grant. You could apply for your business, but they would have to apply separately. We're also looking at not just full-time employees, but part-time employees. So when we say number of employees, it's everyone, whether they're full or part-time. The funds can only be used, this is very important, can only be used for working capital. So just some examples of that are to pay employee salaries, general operating expenses like your utilities, your rent, inventory, advertising, additional expenses that you might have to pay for social distancing, but no modifications to your building, no capital improvements, no fixing your roof, no fixing the facade. It has to be something that's working capital related. That's important because this money is federal money, and if you did any of those other things, they're environmental review requirements, no matter how small, and the state has said you cannot do that. The city intends to utilize a selection committee. There will be policies and procedures that will be written and adhered to, some of which will be addressing the federal rules and requirements. But the city also intends to use this selection committee to recommend to the redevelopment commission, who will make the ultimate approval of those grant applications. The city intends to give special consideration to retail and restaurants, as well as minority and veteran-owned businesses. And one other thing before we open it up to questions, the selected applicants or grantees need to be aware that there are some reporting requirements. The city is going to be required to submit 2 reports after this is closed out, 1 each year, and they will reach out to you to see what the status of your business is. If the business is closed, if you have been able to add employees, if you haven't been able to add employees. We're not sure exactly what the questions are, but they're along those lines, and I'm sure shortly they'll come up with those reporting requirements. But just to make sure you understand that once you get the money, it's not really finished. The city will be following up with you at least twice. I know I went through that quickly, but I want to make sure everybody has time to ask questions and to give comments. And I'm going to check here to see if there's, I don't think
There's nobody on the Zoom.
All right, great, thank you. Okay. If you wouldn't mind, when you give your comments, as the mayor said, please come up here. I'll scoot back a little bit. But talk slowly, please, so I can get your comments, and I don't write that quickly, legibly. So right now, I'd like to open it up to comments, questions.
If you're here to make testimony about this impact on your business, now's the time. So one at a time, come on up.
Thanks for putting that in a different way. Man. Appreciate that.
Hello, my name's Brad Spencer, and I own Spencer Real Estate, where I rent houses and commercial businesses here in Charlestown. One of my renters here is King Donuts. His business has been drastically affected by everything that's going on. When they initially took over in last March, business was very successful. Each month had a profitable month until this past March here, when everything happened. His business has been greatly affected by the virus, and the lack of business has been happening. Seeing his wife Terry running the business, they have 3 small children they're trying to raise 2. And my goal is to try to help them as much as I can, because there is a bit of a language barrier, being originally they're from Cambodia. So I'm just trying to help as much as I can.
And I would assume that this money would help you to keep your business open or to keep your employees employed. Is that,
Yes.
that any assistance that would?
Yeah, he's two months behind in rent.
Right, okay.
And it's been a struggle trying to buy from his vendors to keep up with the demand, to make the donuts.
Okay.
So there is definitely some capital that's needed that's been suffering.
And I'm sorry that you're going through that, and I know he's not the only one, but we'll do our best to see if we can help with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Other businesses, people here? State your name and your business and your address for the record.
I'm Melissa Duval, Absolutely Salon. And I was going to also speak for the 2 girls that work with me, because we are the salon where I rent out spaces.
Okay.
Amanda Flowers, Desiree Keebler. We had no income for over 2 months, absolutely none. I did not ask any of the coworkers to pay the so-called booth rent because they had nothing to pay it with. The bills still came in, along with additional several $100s of safety equipment to prepare for the reopening. We will never really fully recoup. We can only have 1 client per stylist at a time, where we would have been able to do a second client while the first was sitting with color or perm processing. We can no longer do this, and that makes longer hours with less income. We have lost income, and we still have some people that are afraid to be in the public. This is quite a balancing act from keeping such a tight schedule with the clients and keeping the bills paid. So any financial help would be appreciated. We're having trouble getting supplies. Of course, supplies are some of the things that we're trying to get, we cannot get hold of.
When you say supplies, are you just talking about some personal protective equipment supplies, or even just your beauty supplies? Because I know there's a shortage.
And personal protective.
Okay, all right.
I ordered some personal protective supplies before we reopened about 3 weeks prior, and I still have not received those. They're still in back order. The supplies that we need to run the salon, a lot of those things we're having trouble to get.
Okay. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, I'm sorry you're having that
Thank you.
issue.
Other business owners, feel free.
It could even be, yes, I think this is a great idea, as simple as
Yeah.
that.
Even if you're here just in support of businesses, feel free to come up and say that. The more testimony we have, the better.
Hi, my name's Cindy Soliday, and I have a small business, Clutters Cottage. I'm the only employee,
Okay,
but for 2 months my shop was closed. Because of the virus, 4 major events that I participate in, which I base my income for the next year on, were canceled. So, shorter hours. I'm only open 3 days a week instead of 5. Shorter hours during the day. And I have inventory coming in that was ordered in January, and they're expecting payment. Well, the shop's been slow, so any funds would be appreciated.
Thank you very much.
I'm just gonna read it.
That's fine.
Uh,
Okay, she's gonna come and then David. No, you're fine.
Hello, I'm Jill Miller. I'm the general manager at Cobblestone Hotel and Suites in Charlestown. And we were definitely impacted. We were closed starting March 24th through July 1st. Our investors made a decision that it was probably the best interest with safety, and the sales had went down so bad. I do have the hotel statistics for March, April, and May, and July to show the difference from last year to this year. Even while we were closed, we still had to pay over $80,000 worth of bills even while we were closed. They did furlough the employees, so we were able to go on unemployment. All but one employee, hers was through Kentucky. She still has not got one penny paid yet. She's actually homeless, so the hotel, the investors did make a decision to put her in a room, and so while she's working, she is living at the property for right now until she can get on her feet, and, you know, she's still kind of going back and forth with them trying to get that. We've lost over $400,000. We lost all of our main events during March, April, and May. Derby is rescheduled for September, but we lost our tour bus of 33 rooms, which brings in a massive amount of our income. And it's elderly groups, so they've already canceled that. We've lost, I don't know how many groups totally, but the hotel statistics here does show all the income and stuff. And we have 9 employees right now. Normally we have 12 to 14, but right now we're, you know, doing part-time as much as we can to cover all the shifts. I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, we were closed the 3 months. We are back open now, but, you know, we still had to maintain everything, of course, while it was closed.
But I would assume that business hasn't just automatically picked up.
Correct, no. I mean, you know, we're fortunate with what we are getting in right now slowly, but no, it's definitely not back to what it is. And our rates, we've had to actually drop rates a lot too, due to all this.
And then the old Derby is rescheduled for September.
It's rescheduled, but I
It's
mean,
limited capacity, and you don't know what's really gonna happen.
yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen at this point. And like I said, our major tour, we have 33 rooms every year guaranteed they've already canceled out totally because it's an elderly group. They didn't feel like it was safe enough. And we have put a lot of money, the investors have, into the safety equipment for all of our employees and our guests, like the shields everywhere. And of course, you know, they're taking temps. We do all that every single day and keep logs and all that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're
for your
welcome.
comment.
Did anybody, do you want those? Thank you.
Would it be possible for me to get you a copy of what you read, or is that one of the things that's already been?
I've emailed it to
Oh,
her.
I got it then, great.
Because she asked
Thank
me
you.
to. Is that okay?
Thank you, yes.
My name's David Broughton. I'm a lifelong resident of Charlestown. The past year and a half, I opened my farmer's insurance agency at 1021 Highway 62 in Charlestown. Besides myself, I have one part-time employee who is an insurance agent, but he works strictly by commission. At this time, I do not take a salary, as I've been building my business from the ground up and need those funds to operate my business. My agency is a retail agency, which means I started the business with no book of business, i.e. no customers. Since that time, I've been able to slowly build my customer base, but I'm still not trying to profit. Since COVID-19 reared its ugly head, my business has been impacted. The following is a concise list of factors I believe have contributed to this situation. People were directed by the federal and state government to stay home, which led to a decrease in growth potential, which in turn decreased travel and use of their vehicles, and in some cases the insured would cancel their policy or garage their vehicle, which would place their insurance coverage on hold. Less traffic means less individuals are driving by my office on a busy highway and therefore not seeing my, in quotation, beautiful and expensive LED sign out front, which is used to advertise my business and draw customers. Some folks have been able to pay their insurance due to permanent loss, some folks have been unable to pay their insurance due to permanent loss of job, income, or layoff situation. This in turn impacts my commission and revenue. Farmers did offer discounts for a few months to help my customers since they were driving less. That was only a temporary fix. People are delaying purchasing vehicles due to the financial uncertainty and impact of COVID, which leads to less opportunities to provide auto insurance. If this financial impact continues, it could in turn impact the ability for homeowners and renters to pay their insurance premiums. It has also impacted their ability to ride their motorcycles or recreational vehicles, i.e. campers, motorhomes, boats, etc. These are just a few of the reasons my small business has been impacted. I greatly appreciate whatever help I can get. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, I appreciate it.
Any other business owners?
Hello,
Please make sure you speak into the microphone so we can get it good on recording.
I'm Brenda Nichols with Nichols Incorporated. We're a crane and excavating business located in Charlestown. We have problems getting our wrecking permits. With all the government offices closed, we're way behind in wrecking and building permits. Getting jobs started on time because of communication. We used to have the whole crew show up at a job site. Now just the supervisor can show up. Getting utilities retired. Most of a lot of the demo jobs we're on, we can't get the utilities required because there's no help. And you just sit on the phone. Other contractors are not working. We're the first one in and the last one out. And the contractors in between us, we can't finish our jobs because a lot of them have to be so close together that they're not working. We can't get parts for heavy equipment. We've tried and tried. We can't, there's just several parts that you just can't get in. Our truck drivers couldn't get their DOT license renewed. We had trouble getting results on drug testing. When we go to the school sites, we have to be drug tested within 7 days. And some of them were taking 2 and 3 weeks. Supervisors, we had to get office trailers and put on each job site and go get office equipment. It was hard finding computers, printers, and everything with everyone working at home because we didn't want everyone coming into the local office. Couldn't get union operators because they didn't want to drive up and stay in a hotel. So we couldn't get, there was a lot of union operators we couldn't get. We had a lot of jobs canceled because of the economy. We had a subdivision we were supposed to do, and the subdivision actually closed, decided not to do it because they didn't know if they were going to be financially secure. And the biggest thing is a lot of the guys work in ditches, so they have to have the mask on. It's been so hot lately that we can't do a lot of our sewer work. So that's basically how it's affected us as of right now.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Tajana, did you?
Appreciate it.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. I'm Tashana. I'm one of the owners of Charlestown Pizza Company, and we're still just doing carry-out only, and that's a personal decision. But we think that our health is more important than the money. But anyways, we're down about half sales-wise, and we're not ready to open up dining, and we don't even have the staff to do it. And when we did put out help wanted, we didn't get any response back. So and we are paying like $15 minimum wage at our business. So that's hard too, to have more employees at that rate. But so anyway, but we're down about half, and we're just doing the best we can. And yeah, any help we would really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Other business owners?
Hello, my name is Melissa Wright. I'm representing Kettle. My dad is the owner, and my sister, Bobby Jones Gilbert, she does all the number works. Needless to say, we've been in business since 2003, and everybody's always supported us. Never had, never anything's ever hurt us the way that COVID has. Especially with everything shutting down and the mandatory requirements going on. We slowly started at the beginning, less people coming in, and then the percentage had to get cut back, and then we had to go to carry out only and being, even though people know about us in Charlestown, less people started coming in, especially with just carry out only, and we're not like these fast food restaurants where you go by McDonald's and constantly see a drive-through with 20 people in it. You know, that's what's heartbreaking. People talk about, you know, our community helping each other out, but yet you see somebody you know go through the drive-through at McDonald's instead of saying, go to your locals, your pizza company or your donut shop or the Kettle to help out. And then after that we shut down. That was, I think, going on for 4 weeks, and then we shut down completely for 5 weeks. And I mean, no income going in, but money was still going out, utilities, expenses, and then you get going back, and you're still open with regulations, but you start seeing people come in, picking up, but it's still not like it was. And then Cisco not having what they're supposed to, and people not, you know, getting upset with that. But needless to say is we've been hurting, and it would be awesome if we could get the support and the help that, you know, these other big companies have been getting, so we all could survive and move on. And it would be nice not to see people shut down because of this craziness happening. Anything can help.
Thank you so much.
Are there any other business owners back there to make testimony, or anybody in support of the businesses who wants to speak? Okay, Jill, I think you're...
Okay. Well, with that, then I would ask again, and I don't know what the best way is to do that. If you want me to just stand out in the back before you go out, or if you want to write your name on that sheet back there, then that would be great. But when we're finished, I'll just go out towards the door, and you can tell me your name if I don't already have it, and I'll make sure that we have a record. And with that, I'll just conclude the public hearing. I do appreciate you coming out and bearing with me and getting your comments. So hopefully this is what it'll take to get this money going.